Okay, then I will get us rolling here. Okay, so I shared with you guys like a protein cheat sheet this week with some quick go-to recipes as well because I did notice a common theme of people falling a little bit short, and most people just said like I just am running out of ideas. So I thought it would be a good idea for us to, first of all, talk about why we need so much protein, and then how to space your protein out, and not just your protein, but just your meals in general. Um, and then really like learn about why our bodies need protein and what it does for us. So, women need to prioritize building muscle first and foremost, because higher your muscle mass, the higher your metabolism. The higher your metabolism, the more we can eat, right? Muscle is a metabolically active tissue, meaning it burns more calories at rest compared to fat. As we age, we tend to lose muscle mass, which can lead to slower metabolism. Building and maintaining muscle helps keep your metabolism active, making it easier to manage your weight and reduce fat gain. And it also helps us prevent age-related weight gain. After menopause, women often experiences changes in body composition with a higher tendency to gain fat, especially around the abdomen. Building muscle helps combat this by increasing lean tissue and supporting fat loss. So I think many women believe that perimenopause and menopause in itself causes weight gain, when in reality, it really doesn't. If you look at the statistics, but it does change our energy levels because of the hormone changes. It can change our sleeping patterns. If you add hot flashes into the middle of the night, you're not getting adequate sleep. And those things can cause weight gain. So it's not perimenopause or menopause itself that causes the weight gain. And then it also just redistributes where we gain our body fat. I think all women are always a little self-conscious of our midsections. And especially as we age, that's kind of the area that people really want to pay attention to and target. All right, we also need to prioritize muscle for our bone health. It helps prevent osteoporosis. As we age, we're at a higher risk of osteoporosis. And unfortunately, osteoporosis is not reversible. Once you're diagnosed with it, you can do pretty much only things to like maintain what you have. Your doctor will probably give you different kinds of prescriptions and supplements to try to reduce the acceleration of bone loss. But it's a serious deal because as soon as our bones become brittle, we have a much higher risk of, fracturing and breaking bones. And I don't know about you guys, but I know at least one elderly person in my life that when they like broke a bone, like a pretty significant size bone, like a leg or hip, like they were hospitalized and they never were the same, or recovered. So it is something that we have to think about, even though, we're in our 40s and 50s, this is now the time to really prevent that, not when we're, diagnosed with osteoporosis. It also helps with joint stability and injury prevention. Strong muscles help support joints, reducing the risk of falls and injuries. So, gotta pay attention to that stuff. It helps with hormone balance. Strength training and muscle building can help regulate hormones, especially during menopause when women experience shifts in estrogen, progesterone, and other hormones. Exercise, particularly resistance training, has been shown to positively influence hormone levels and improve symptoms like hot flashes, mood swings, and sleep disturbances. It helps with mental health and cognitive function. I was just reading somebody's check-in today and they missed some workouts this week and they immediately noticed a decrease in their energy. Like they were able to kind of pinpoint like it's because I couldn't work out. So I think that was a really eye-opening experience for her. But, if you work out early in the morning, I bet, it gives you more energy throughout the day. It also helps with cognitive function. There's emerging evidence that resistance training can support cognitive function and protects against age-related declines in memory and mental sharpness. Building muscle may help maintain a healthier brain as you age, keeping you mentally sharp and more focused. All right, so let's talk about meal timing. Meal timing is crucial for both weight loss and muscle gain as it can influence your body's ability to build and repair muscle tissue, optimize performance during workouts, and recover afterwards. While the overall calorie intake and macronutrient balance are the biggest factors for muscle growth, how and when you eat can help maximize these processes. So, one of the things meal timing can do for us is help regulate our appetite, which is very important, especially when we're in a fat loss phase, because we are at a calorie range that is under what our body needs to maintain where it's at. So, your body's going to just naturally tell you, hey, I'm not getting enough food here. I'm hungry. So, spreading your meals out throughout the day helps kind of combat that. It helps stabilize your blood sugar levels, prevent extreme hunger, which can lead to overeating. When you skip meals or eat erratically, your body may crave high calorie foods, making it harder to stick to a calorie deficit. Um, there's a number of you guys that struggle with eating breakfast, and it's because maybe it's just like a habit. Like I'm just so used to like getting up and just having a cup of coffee and get knocking off some tasks and then I finally am hungry, like closer to lunchtime. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. However, when it comes to like appetite regulation and your blood sugar, it would benefit you greatly to have a meal earlier in the day within like an hour or two of waking up and something that's, higher in protein so that your muscles are getting replenished after sleeping all night. Because when we're sleeping all night, we are going into a fasted state. So our muscles are looking for that energy. It also helps with hunger hormones. Regular meals help balance hormones like ghrelin and leptin, which make it easier to manage your appetite. So, in terms of like the breakfast thing, it doesn't have to be anything huge. It's more of just getting into the habit of eating breakfast, breaking the habit first, and then you can build up the meal to the size that you want it to be, 34 or 35, 40 grams of protein. So for any of you guys who are breakfast skippers, I want you to seriously think about this part specifically because it could be really impacting your progress. Protein synthesis, protein timing specifically. Your body is constantly breaking down and building muscle protein, but the balance of these processes, known as muscle protein turnover, shifts after you eat. Consuming protein at strategic times can help you maximize muscle protein synthesis, which is the process of building muscle. Frequent frequent protein intake. Research suggests spreading protein intake throughout the day, about 20 to 40 grams every 3 to 4 hours. It can support optimal muscle growth. This gives your body a steady supply of amino acids, which are the building blocks of muscle tissue. So, not only do we want to spread, our meals in general, but we want to make sure that, you're taking the total grams of protein that I have programmed for you and breaking that up into your, 3, 4, 5 meals a day. Kind of keeping it spread evenly throughout the day. Um, Something that I never used to pay attention to was eating before my workouts. I was just always, I was always taught, just do it fasted. It's better for you. You'll burn fat if you work out fasted, which is just not the case. When it comes to building muscle, which remember we need as women to boost our metabolism, fueling before you exercise is going to help those workouts, help you push harder, help you build muscle. Eating a balanced meal with protein and carbohydrates about 1 to 2 hours before a workout provides your muscles with fuel and amino acids, which it needs to perform at its best. Carbs are especially important for maintaining energy levels during high intensity or endurance workouts. Now, I always told myself that I just can't eat before I work out. I just can't do it. I'll throw up. Well, I was just kind of stuck in a rut myself and believing the old information that I had been told. And it turns out I can have a rice cake or two with some peanut butter on it. I can totally eat a banana and go get my workout done. I can eat a couple beef sticks and go get my workout done, and I'm not going to puke. So again, it's just like breaking that habit of skipping breakfast. Eating a little something before your workouts can benefit you greatly. And we want to do a mix of protein and carbs and not so much fats because fat is slow digesting. And so it might make your stomach feel a little bogged down when you're working out, but your muscles will immediately tap into the protein and carbs. A pre-workout meal with both protein and carbs ensures that your body has sufficient glycogen stores for energy and amino acids for muscle repair. This says to eat like a chicken sandwich or a protein shake, but if you're a morning workout person, I don't know how appetizing a chicken sandwich sounds. Maybe more like a hard-boiled egg and like a half a banana or something like that. I just ordered some like just some smaller beef sticks to have because I'm really good at like eating like a quick banana or a couple rice cakes or something like that, but I was skipping out on the protein part. So not like a big honkin' Jack's Links. It was like those like mini chomps is what I got. Um, but for those that work out in the afternoon or the evening, if you've already had just like your normal like breakfast or lunch, you might not need to quite add something. It just depends on how soon after you eat you're working out. And then post-workout is huge as well because your muscles are going to be needing carbs and protein again to help them recover. It's going to help especially with muscle soreness. So, the post-workout period, often referred to as the anabolic window, is when your body is most receptive to nutrients for muscle repair and growth. Consuming a combination of protein and carbohydrates in 30 to 60 minutes after a workout can significantly boost muscle recovery and growth. After a workout, you need protein to help repair the muscle fibers that were broken down during exercise. Aim for 20 to 30 grams. Carbohydrates, again, they replenish your muscle glycogen stores that were used during training. This will also help with the muscle recovery and muscle building processes. So, I mean, you can kind of think of your pre and post workouts as kind of like similar amounts. If you work out in the morning, maybe your pre-workout's a little bit smaller, and then your post-workout is just your breakfast, which, like 300 calories or something like that. Carbohydrate timing, carbs for recovery. We just kind of talked about that. That's an extra slide. Meal frequency, frequent eating for muscle gain. Eat every 3 to 4 hours. It just, again, it keeps your muscles with a steady supply of nutrients. Okay, so in conclusion here, eat a pre-workout meal 1 to 2 hours before working out. There's some other examples here. I mean, it could be something even like leftovers from dinner the night before that you just set aside and measure out. Post-workout, very similar to the pre-workout, 30 to 60 minutes after you work out, protein shake, yogurt, some fruit, anything like that. And then the evening protein as well. If you have a pretty, protein heavy dinner, you might not need this, but if you have like, let's say just like pasta and veggies, you might want to add like a protein shake closer to bedtime. Because when we go to sleep, as I mentioned, our body is fasting. And so our muscles are going to need something to kind of fuel them while we're sleeping, essentially. And it just helps us with repair, which will also help with muscle soreness too. And then stay consistent with the protein like spread. Try to have protein in every meal. Aim for 20 to 40 grams, high quality. I always caution using too many like protein bars and things like that. Protein bars, you really definitely want to look at the nutrition label. Here, I can close out of this so we can see each other here. Where'd we go? There we are. Oh, was I sharing my screen? Oh my gosh, did I not share that
No,
entire thing, you guys?
no.
Oh my gosh. I want a do-over. I have like a whole slideshow. I'll share the slideshow in our thing and you'll just have to listen to me ramble. Sorry about that. Crap. Okay. So the thing with protein bars and even some shakes are They're all, some protein bars are almost like a glorified candy bar. Like if you go to like the gas station and you look at, I always do this because if I'm like traveling and I'm like, I need to grab something, I'm starving. If I look at all these labels, it's like there's almost as much fat as there is protein in these protein bars. So you really want to look at the ratio, because if it's only got like 15 grams of protein and like almost 10 grams of fat, that if you look at a Snickers bar, we're getting pretty darn close to being the same thing. So, I'm trying to think of some brands that have a decent amount of protein. I think a couple of us have talked about the barbells ones. Those seem to have a pretty good ratio of fat to protein. The other thing that I would caution you on is if it's like the zero sugar, like fake sugar added stuff, sometimes that gives people digestive distress, even diarrhea, or can cause bloating. So just keep an eye out on that. Um, I'm trying to think of the different names of that fake sugar that you would see on, like the sugar alcohol, I think is the one that really can bother people's stomachs. So, like if you eat a protein bar and afterwards you're like, oh, I feel so bloated, it's probably something that was in that. So just double check the ingredients.
Do you
Um,
have any specific protein bar no-nos that you would say absolutely do not?
I'm thinking like what I see at the gas station, like the Cliff bars or the Builders bars. Basically any of like those big name brands that used to make candy bars, I think they kind of tried to like health wash their candy bars and market it towards like people that want to be healthier.
Mhm.
But yeah, I would just make sure that, if it's like half as much fat as protein, I would probably put that one back. Um, because like if you're in a pinch, I'd rather see you grab like one of those like single serve yogurts, like the low sugar ones, just so that you're not, eating up all your carbs with that. And that's essentially what sugar does. The sugar is accounted for in the carbohydrates, which will affect your total calories. Most of us aren't tracking carbohydrates. So you don't necessarily see that on your log, but you'll notice that your calories kind of diminish a lot quicker when you're eating like a lot of high sugar foods.
If I'm a quick trip girl, if I'm going to quick trip and I need a breakfast, I mean Saturday morning, for example, my daughter and I headed up to the cabin and I didn't eat before we left. And I specifically said to her, I want to stop, at Quick Trip along the way. And she needed gas anyway, so it was good. I always grab the two cheese sticks. Sometimes I'll do their hard boiled eggs, which are grossly overpriced, but whatever. And, like a core power shake or
Mhm.
whatever, versus gravitating towards a Cliff Bar or something like that. I would rather have something of actual substance and something I feel like is more of actual nutrition
Hmm.
than a Cliff Bar. But also, when in a pickle, sometimes you just don't have those choices. But
Yeah.
I
I've
tend
seen
to,
that Barbells brand at Quick Trip now. Um,
okay.
yeah. But I agree. Also, like a Cliff Bar is not going to really keep you full for very long. It really
Hmm.
does not have that much protein in it. It just kind of tastes
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Those like core power drinks, like is it like a muscle milk type of thing? Like those have a really decent amount. I think it's like 20 plus grams of protein in there. Um, and then pair that with like some fruit or something like that. That's a
Hmm.
great choice. Or like you said, a hard-boiled egg. The yogurts at Quick Trip or most gas stations are usually like the higher sugar kind or like the added fruit that you stir into. Those are usually pretty high in sugar. You kind of wanted to like look for like the low fat or just the plain Greek yogurt, just in terms of just getting good protein. Now, if you're like,
Hmm.
I don't care, I have the calories to spend, I'm gonna get whatever full sugar yogurt because I like it, then you go, girl. But yeah. Okay. Anyone have questions regarding the PowerPoint that I did not share? Happy Monday.
I'm just like, honestly, I'm like, oh, I don't want to eat breakfast. So
I
it makes me
know.
feel better though, hearing you say that there's
Mhm.
others of us that live
Yeah.
kind of the same life, coffee, and then I eat around lunchtime or 11 or whatever.
Hmm.
And I did it one other time where I ate a very small breakfast, but I stuck to like a protein powder in my coffee.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I
If
think that's better than nothing. I think if
okay,
you added a piece of fruit, I think that would be perfect because
okay.
protein
That's
powder
actually what I
stuff
was going to
like
ask you
that.
because we talked about how I wasn't eating breakfast either, but I am putting my protein powder in my coffee every morning, which is 30 grams of protein in
Hmm.
my coffee. So I feel like since I hate breakfast, like that's
Yeah.
better than nothing. So you
Can
say
you
then I need a piece of
add a
fruit.
rice cake or a banana to that or an apple
Okay.
or like a bowl of berries or something just to get those
Okay.
carbs? And then I think
Okay.
that's fine. And then,
Okay.
once it kind of starts to get your hormones back online and kind of gets your body into, because really it's like breaking our circadian rhythm. Like we are still hardwired like Neanderthals and we rise with the sun and go to sleep with the moon. And our everyday now lives totally disrupts all of that. Um, so like we're going to bed later, we're sitting in front of artificial light, we're skipping breakfast and just drinking a bunch of Starbucks. Like that all really messes up our circadian rhythm, which you might think, but I sleep okay. But we have to think of it in terms of our hormones. So you might feel like you're sleeping okay, but it's still doing something internally that you might not notice quite yet. Over time, it may come to a head. So getting our bodies into like a normal eating routine. Now, given if you sleep in on a Saturday and you miss your breakfast window and just eat like a brunch, not a big deal. But if we're thinking about it in terms of like every single day, your body needs that structure. It needs that for regular digestion, to feed your muscles, to give you energy throughout the day, and to keep your hormones happy. So,
What are your thoughts on eating, just because I don't mind them, eating eggs every day? Like, I don't live by
I think
what the
it's
news
fine.
says.
I
On
think it's fine.
any given
Yeah.
day that the news will say, don't eat eggs, and then the next day they'll say, eat eggs,
Yeah.
whatever.
I think certain things take their turn in the spotlight to get villainized, and then
Mhm.
the research comes out like, never mind. It's just like when they used to tell us that smoking was fine. And it's like, is that,
Yeah.
like it just, moms used to drink alcohol when they were pregnant. Like, things just come and go. If your body tolerates eggs and you don't feel anything after like eating them, I don't
I
see why
don't mind them.
you keep eating them. Um, I did talk about this with a couple of you guys on your check-ins that eat eggs. The the only thing with eggs is that a whole egg with the egg yolk is going to be more calories because the egg yolk is the fat. There's actually quite a bit of fat in eggs, which is not bad. It's the yolk, it has so much nutrients in it, but you might not get as much protein in two eggs as you would in two eggs plus some egg whites, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. So some of you, I think two eggs is, I don't even know how many grams of protein it is, but I don't think it's quite
Like
30 to 40.
I think there's only six
Isn't
in
it
one egg.
6 per
It's
egg?
not very
Yeah.
much because there's
Yeah.
not a lot of egg white in an egg. So you could, oh, sorry, egg. I'm just looking it up here. So one egg only has, yeah, like 6 grams of protein and 5 grams of fat. So it's like worse. It's worse than those glorified candy bars. So I think eggs are so nutritious and it's stupid to be afraid of them. So I would just pick up like some of those egg beaters and I would just still, if you love your two eggs, just bulk it up with some extra protein with the egg white. Or a lot of people will add, they'll scramble up like half a cup of like low-fat cottage cheese for a little extra protein. I hear it's really good. I wish I could eat it, but I cannot. So, or if you feel like your two eggs like over easy with a piece of toast, add half a cup of yogurt with some fruit on it or something like that. But no, I think it's been debunked that eggs give you high cholesterol and everything else. Because if that was true, if red meat and all that, my cholesterol would be off the charts because it's literally all I eat. So,
And Leah, on that, I don't know, I've heard you say fruit a lot of times and kind of going about like with the news and eggs. It's like fruit, you hear, oh, fruit's high in sugar too. Like, don't eat so much fruit. But I love fruit, and I know, like, calorie wise, they're not very high in calories either. And obviously, it's going to have vitamins and minerals and all those good things for you too.
yeah.
So,
I think
I like,
they get a bad rap because people are like, well, this piece of fruit and this candy has the same amount of sugar in it when you look at it, but it's literally comparing apples to oranges because that fruit also has a fiber. That fruit also has vitamins and nutrients. Waylon just wanted to come and say hi. Um, and it's good for us, so it's not fair to compare the two. And unless you have like prediabetes or diabetes where you really have to pay attention to your blood sugar and eat lower on the glycemic index, I don't think it's anything to be afraid of. I really don't. Um, Again, they just like to pick and choose just to mess with us, I think. Like, one day it's one thing and then the next day it's something else, and Lucky Charms are healthier. So I think we gotta trust our gut. We gotta eat, you know, mix in the fun foods, but also like whole foods are kind of what our bodies were designed to eat. So
thank you.
good questions. Anyone else? No? Okay. Well, I'm sorry that I didn't share the screen. I got just excited about recording and then forgot the most important part. So what I'll do is I will message all of us this recording, and then I will also message the slides so that you guys have everything.
The slides can just be re-reviewed as bonus homework.
Yes.
I feel like you can never see that stuff too many times, and we can never hear Leah speak too many times. So keep it up.
My Wisconsin accent. Gosh darn it. All right. Well, it was nice seeing you ladies. Also, let's find each other on social media. I put out that document. It probably is way back in our message thread. So I
I
don't
might have done something wrong, but I feel like I couldn't make that work. I
I had
couldn't
to
make it
change
go.
the sharing settings, so I'll share it again.
Okay.
So we can find each other.
I
Okay.
know. And my phone, it was really like from my iPhone, it wouldn't let me edit it.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
add to it.
I'm gonna take a
I'm
look
even
at it
having
again.
problems with the Zoom on my phone tonight, so.
Okay, well, I will take another look at it and share that along with these two things. And if you have questions, just reach out, okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Sounds great.
All right.
Bye,
Good night,
everyone.
ladies.
Good night.